Folks, this is Retro Reload. This is actually a surprise special episode. We were going to save all our E3 stuff for Thursday and just have one big episode. I think, honestly, that was when most of us thought this would be like any other E3, where, it'd be mostly ho-hum, and then maybe there'd be some, some fun surprises in there. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but for me, looking at the layout, even though some of the actual presentations have been a dud, some of the games that these guys are pitching and announcing for release within the next year or two, absolutely amazing. To me, it's like an atom bomb of gaming goodness.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of good stuff as they've been showing. So, shoot, where do you even start? I mean, there was new amiibos, so all of us with an addiction to that, that's going to be...
I gotta be honest with you, the amiibo announcements didn't really do it for me, but
oh, come on, that 8-bit Mario.
Dude, I need the 8-bit Mario, I need Rob, I need Duck Hunt. I've got a problem.
I need Lucina and freaking Robin. Those are the two that I really want.
Yeah, I can definitely, maybe Rob, I'll give you that, Rob the Robot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And the Game & Watch is pretty cool.
I'll give you that one.
Game & Watch. Yeah, I'm looking forward to those. I'm looking for the old school Nintendo stuff I really enjoy, so I'll be buying those.
Have any of you been able to try Ryu and Smash?
No, I haven't. I don't have Smash, believe it or not.
I don't know how
I haven't had time to turn my Wii on.
He is such a different character.
I'm not. There's a real funny I can make right now, but I won't.
Do it.
In the interest of our family audience, I won't make a joke about you not being able to turn your Wii on.
I definitely wouldn't make that joke either. But hey, your stubble's working for me, so.
I know. Tell me about it. So, this was actually. I'm trying to make up for the red bearded gamer, right?
We're going back already.
I was gonna say, we lost our forest beard demographic, so I'm trying to get it back for us.
Okay, I got the first question for you guys. Who here has seen a pre-order already because of E3?
What?
No.
Nope.
Okay, I have a pre-order already.
Here's another. What you pre-ordered, right? You pre-ordered Fallout 4, right?
Pip-Boy edition, yes. I went all out and got the Pip-Boy edition.
That's amazing. So explain to us a little bit briefly, like Pip-Boy edition. Like I hear this constantly. I looked and it looks like there's like some wristwatchy thing or whatever. Like for someone that has no clue what the hell Fallout is, what is a Pip-Boy and what is the Pip-Boy edition of the game?
See if I can explain it for a non-fan. Okay. Pretty much is based post-apocalyptic. The nukes fail, the Earth is wiped out. There's there's a risk. It's like a watch, big old risk. You can do also for your stats, weapons and stuff like that. It's a big old risk. It's like your. But the Pip-Boy is an actual Pip-Boy where you take your iPhone and Android in it, download the app, and it has a.
Oh, so that screen is actually, when they show the little screen on it, that screen is actually your phone.
Yes, and it's going to have the app, or it looks like it. Seriously, just...
That is actually pretty cool, because, I'm looking at it, and to be honest with you, it just looked like this really, I'm like, number one, the thing is huge. Like, why is it that huge, right? And then number two was like, who's gonna wear something that huge and gaudy that's just like this crappy little I didn't know that there was actually you could put a fully functional smartphone in there. That's legit cool.
That's why I ordered when I said you can put your smartphone in there, download the app and use it because you can use it.
Now that's sold out now, isn't it?
I was on Best Buy earlier and it still was, but I ordered off Amazon the moment it went. And I checked next morning at 10 a.m. We weren't taking pre-order for it on Amazon. I got an email from Amazon saying we're upgrading to release date delivery. So I have to wait now.
Nice.
So yes, I for Fall 4.
Now that announcement though, the Fallout 4 announcement actually preceded E3 though, right?
Well,
Yeah, it was Day Zero with the Nintendo World Championship. Or well, I guess they negative one.
Well, no, because there was that video, right? There was that video before, like the full week before.
that was a trailer, and they showed like all in-game content, which is amazing. Like when I was watching it,
Look at his face. Like he's like a little kid. He's like.
it is. When I get excited, my second favorite series is Combat.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I was gonna say about the only thing that could have made you happier is if there was like Ace Combat, Infinity Edition or something like that.
Oh, True Ace Combat. Oh, that made my week. Let's hear what you guys looking forward to.
Oh,
So Bethesda actually, Bethesda showed off. So they're gonna do a remake of Doom.
yes. Or is
What
it?
are your
Doom
thoughts
4?
on that? I didn't see the actual video for that
The
one.
video looks sweet. It looks like it's.
Yeah.
I'm not a Doom fan. I don't understand the whole mythos. I mean, I played it a little bit back in the day on the PC, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm probably going to pick it up. It looked really cool, and the sound of the shotgun is super satisfying. I really, just the sound of that shotgun was awesome.
Nice.
The only complaint that I've heard about it is the fact that the soundtrack isn't metal.
Okay.
Okay.
Maybe
Honestly,
Nine
kinda
Inch
doesn't-
Nails was busy.
As I think Venom people mentioned for them.
So what really surprised me, switching gears for a bit, what really surprised me, so there were some companies I expected to do better than they did in their presentation, namely EA and Square. And then there were other companies like I honestly wasn't expecting to be wowed at all by, but I'm totally, completely, like, I will end up buying into the next gen. I want to see if you guys can guess what are the two that I wasn't impressed by first.
What
Called
company?
EA, obviously.
Oh yeah, EA was like a pile of mess. It was like, oh, we're gonna have another Need for Speed game, surprise. A whole bunch of sports games, surprise.
And Square was just the whole time. I really was off watching that.
That one surprised me. I don't know how you can possibly announce, like, I'm scrolling down here to check it out. I don't know how you can announce Rise of the Tomb Raider, Final Fantasy VII, Kingdom Hearts 3, and Star Ocean and have people falling asleep in their chairs. That just amazes me.
Well, for the first part, the Final Fantasy VII, the Rise of the Tomb Raider, those games that already got shown, they showed the same trailer for.
Oh, they showed the exact same trailer?
Yes.
Lame.
A quick shout out to Star Ocean for Philip because we'll miss him this week. So there's your shout out, Philip.
But, I mean, out of all the Square Enix stuff that was announced, the only one that really interested me was the Nier 2.
Okay.
Which, if you haven't played Nier, definitely check it out. It's a cheap, really good RPG that's very mature. And
Now what's
the new one's being developed by Platinum.
by Platinum? Who developed the other one? The previous one?
Oh, God. I need to grab it real quick. 1 second.
Yeah,
All right.
Focus on.
While he's looking that up,
Let's talk about Tomb Raider. Chris, what do you think of Tomb Raider? Because that's you right there.
so I'm still kind of torn on this one because I have a feeling that the PS3 version is going to be better, or I'm sorry, the PS4 version is going to be better than the Xbox One version, but the Xbox One version is going to land first. So
Oh,
I'm
Tomb
kinda
Raider you're
like,
talking about there?
yeah. So the whole timed exclusive thing kind of sours my. I'm excited for it. Don't get me wrong. I'll pick it up, but my excitement for it is a little bit muted by the fact that it's going to be a timed exclusive on the weaker console.
Yeah, there's a couple of like that, like PlayStation and Xbox. I like that. Like release all at the same time. This is bullshit.
Well, I can definitely understand. I mean, when I say weaker console, like this generation, it's really like a relative term. Like the PlayStation 4 isn't ridiculously more powerful than the Xbox One. It's not like the PS3 versus the 360. where it's like a clear-cut difference in amount of content, resolution, and all that other stuff. So this time around, it's a bit more like they're mostly the same. So I think really the only thing that they have to distinguish themselves from each other this generation is, exclusives.
True.
All right, I
Sure,
can't
you want
find
to correct me on that one, or what are your thoughts?
it.
I understand where you're coming from. I understand what it is. Still don't like it.
I mean,
It's
I gotta get a Xbox One anyways, because a lot of the games that are coming out, I'm starting to really see a lot of good exclusives for.
So I saw you picked up Nair. Which
Yeah.
who was the previous publisher? Or
I can't really find.
the mystery publisher, the mystery creators. Folks,
But it's the same.
if you know,
it's the same
call
people who made the
1-800-533-503.
Drinking Cards series. It's the same people who made the Drinking Cards series, and the only thing I can see is just Square Enix.
Okay. It only shows the publisher?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
What are you excited for? Oh, we lost him.
Yeah, he dropped out. I knew when I asked him a question he didn't respond. He must be lagging, but he's on his way back in. There you are.
All right, Jason. What are you excited for?
The internet. It's slow and leaky up here.
That's what you're excited for, is the internet? Dude, you're about like 20 years late on that one.
I'm just now getting it. Well, I'm a fan. I just got. I've been checking the DOC side or GOC, some Angel Fire.
Yeah.
All right, sorry I was interrupted, guys. Y'all get back to what you're doing.
No, that's okay. Thank you for joining us on AOL. Keyword retro reload. What was the deal with the keywords? Like I never had AOL. So
I'm looking forward to Kingdom Hearts.
You like Google.
Come on to
I didn't
AOL. Keyword. I'm like, was that like hashtag back in the day?
No.
Didn't you dialed into AOL and it was like its own internet? I'm not sure on that, but
Yeah, it was. So I'm like, that's why I'm wondering, like, what's the deal? What was the keyword thing? Like, what did the keyword do? All right,
I don't know.
Cool. I'm not the only one. Folks, if you can help us solve this mystery.
I would say that it's kind of like the Google search of that time.
Gotcha.
I thought that was Ask Jeeves.
That Google search before it's. Yes, there was Ask Jeeves. There was Alta Vista.
Netscape.
Yes, the Netscape Navigator.
All right, let's get back on track.
All right, back on track. So, like, what really did shock me, though, so a couple things that shocked me this E3 was everybody except for EA had, like, amazing games that they're working on. And a lot of these were games that, like, they would be, like, I put them on my bingo card as, like, a joke. Things like a Final Fantasy VII remake that we've been asking for, like, years. It actually made it. Like they're working on it. They've begun initial phases of development for it, and then they show the trailer. That was kind of amazing. The other one I think was one other game that I kind of put down.
Shenmue.
Yeah, Shenmue.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're actually making, and they're crowdfunding that one. And
$2 million last 4 hours. Last I checked.
how much?
Over $2 million already.
That's amazing.
It's got to be up to like 2,900 or 2,900,000 right now.
Yeah, last I checked was like 22,100,000 already. It was crazy.
No, I checked like an hour ago. It was like 2,858,000.
Yeah. The company that came out of nowhere and totally has me like, I got religion now. I'll probably own their console. First, both Sony and Microsoft brought enough A-game to where I'm gonna own both consoles. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, like I said, I've got to get an Xbox One now, I think.
Yeah. What did the Xbox One for me?
Replay?
Rare Replay.
That's what did for me.
Yeah. That, and I'm also looking forward to Recore.
Yeah, I see Jason shaking his head, but Jason, here's what you got to understand, right? Rare Replay is going to offer me the chance to, for $30, get games now that are all missing from my collection except NES Battletoads. That would cost me, well over the cost of an Xbox to buy into it now.
Which
You think
the original
You think it'll cost more than
Battletoads is going to be
cost the Xbox?
Conker's Bad Fur Day now is over $80.
Remember, I was talking about that last week. I wanted a copy. I can get a copy.
I swear, I checked a couple weeks ago.
RC Pro Am 2. RC Pro Am 2 is a ridiculously expensive game too now.
Is RC Pro Am 2 on there?
Yeah.
Jet Force Gemini.
I knew the first one was. I didn't know the second one was.
Yep, RC Pro Am 2, Conker's Bad Fur Day. They also have the Battletoads arcade game, this is the first time that a console has actually gotten a port of the arcade game. So, short of playing that on MAME on my original Xbox, it's kind of cool. And then they've updated them. They've done.
Yeah.
It's not just I watched the trailer for it, and I heard the devs speak, and they've done a whole bunch of stuff to kind of remix the titles. So it's supposed to support save states now and all kinds of stuff. They've got I don't know how exactly they've done it, but they said that they have little mini versions of the game where if you just want to play it in portions or in pieces, they have tidbits of the game that are specially they've specially crafted it around pick up and play and then put down. So I'm kind of curious to see what they've done in terms of trophy support and everything. But then the other thing was this was before E3, Shovel Knight. I really like the exclusive content in Shovel Knight. Namely, there's a Battletoads level in Shovel Knight exclusively for the Xbox One edition that is totally an homage to the original game and has a lot of the more fun segments of the original Battletoads. Versus the Shovel Knight that came out for PS3, yeah, there's some extra God of War content in there, but it's kind of meh.
And then you got the Wii U version, which doesn't have any extra content.
Yep. And then, combine it with Microsoft, they're going to get Tomb Raider, the new Tomb Raider game first. Yeah. I mean, I think Microsoft is really, they're making magic. They definitely know how to get the right things. What we haven't seen yet, and this was kind of a letdown, is we haven't seen any talk whatsoever about Silent Hills.
Yeah.
That's kind of something.
I expected that was just fake. But I mean, I'm more disappointed that we didn't hear anything about Scalebound.
Yeah,
or Crackdown.
I didn't show up.
Yeah. So, who here was actually surprised to hear that EA is going to have a Need for Speed game, a Star Wars game, and various sports games?
Just shocked.
I couldn't believe it. So I really felt like with the exclusion of EA, I really felt like Microsoft, Sony, Square. I feel like these guys are basically finally listening to their fan base. I mean, there's just a lot of solid hits.
That's what kind of got me, is that it seems like they are listening. It seems like these companies are finally going, hey, this is what people want. This is what the internet's clamoring about. Except for, God bless them, Nintendo. What was that Metroid Prime thing? Or Metroid thing?
I was super psyched. I was super psyched until I found out that it was a 4-player FPS for 3DS.
Right. And then
I was pumped when I thought it was a Wii U.
No Zelda.
Honestly, I'm a little disappointed, but I'm not going to give them any flack. We weren't being told that we were going to get a Metroid game.
Right.
Here's why they get forgiveness from me. There's 2 things that they are coming out with this year that we've wanted forever, right? One of them is Mario Maker. Right now we can create our own magic. I remember when Super Mario Brothers, when I got my NES and Super Mario Brothers, me and my best friend Phil would sit down and we get picked on from other kids and everything for this incessantly. But now I make enough I could buy all their houses and burn them down if I wanted to. But
Wow, that's dark for me.
I know, right? But back then, right, it was like it kind of sucked. It felt really bad. Fortunately, I'm well adjusted now to where I don't need to like buy their houses and burn them down. But if I wanted to, I could do it. No, like we'd sit there and we'd draw on pieces of paper. We'd draw like Mario levels, right? And we'd be like, okay, and then the coin blocks up here, and we'd come up with like our own power-ups and everything. And then we'd talk like during lunch about the level and how the different things worked and everything. And it was just so like neat and you know, computers at the time, like we heard something about like computers can somehow make this happen, but we weren't quite sure how to like, you know, scan in the right things like Weird Science style to get it to like create our Mario levels. But now to have something like in the palm of your hands on a current gen console that you can just kind of like point and click, drag and drop the stuff together, it's like a dream come true that I've had since childhood. So that's kind of cool. But then the other one was Star Fox. They come totally out of nowhere. I mean, they go from like, okay, yeah, we're working on something, we're experimenting with a few things, we're not really sure what works, to, holy crap, the gameplay footage looks like the game is practically freaking done. And it's like a perfect amalgamation of the original Star Fox and the never-released Star Fox 2. I mean, it's just amazing.
I like the cockpit view on the gamepad. I mean, you look down, you've got the cockpit view on the gamepad, and on the screen, you've got the third-person view. That was really cool. But I was really looking. Of course, I really like Star Fox. So.
Yeah. I don't know if any of you guys have played through emulation or other means. I have a repro cart as well as I played it on emulation. Star Fox 2. The ship morphing into this thing that can like walk around and shoot and everything. That's straight out of Star Fox 2. So it was kind of cool that they found a way to work that in.
But yeah, with Mario Maker real quick, I'm betting that one of the first levels that's going to be made is Giant Egg. It's just,
and we look forward to you showing us that level when you're done creating it.
I'm not the one creating it. I just know it's going to happen.
So
Also,
so Jeremy actually clued me in on this. The Best Buy that is like right around the corner from my house is one of the Best Buys that's participating tomorrow in the Come Here and Play Mario Maker. So I'm going to try, we'll see how it turns out. I'm going to try wearing the Google Glass going down, and I'm going to try to record me playing Mario Maker. And hopefully it's not just a big fail. But
you know, one more game I discussed that was interesting, No Man's Sky.
Okay, what did you find? Well, I don't know anything about this game, but I assume it's like a Ace Combat-ish type game.
Oh, it's not even nowhere near like Ace Combat. You're in outer space, and you can go to different galaxies, land on different planets. It's massive.
So is it is it like an online game, or is it a single player?
It looks like a multiplayer game where if you discover a planet, you can mark it, or other players might be on the planet. You have to just watch the intro. You'll see what I'm talking about.
I'll have to check that one out. I'm interested in the Mario and Luigi Paper Jam.
Yes, I've been trying to talk about that. God damn it.
Go ahead, throw it out there. Take it away, because I know nothing about it. Other than Paper Mario was awesome, so I'm hoping this is more of the same.
Yeah, I mean, Mario Luigi is the other RPG series that they have for Mario. Both of them have great comedy. They're both very solid RPGs. I'm very looking forward to it. And just a mashup between the two.
That is pretty good. I agree with you. I think that the Paper Mario and all the role-playing flavored Mario games have a really great, doesn't take itself too seriously kind of comedy style. And if you're not expecting it when you first get in, I remember when I first played it, I'm like, this is cheesy and corny as heck, right? But then I realized something really awesome, which was I could sit down and play this game with my son and not really have to worry about, you know, what's going on. It was good humor. It wasn't like toilet humor or, you know, trashy humor or anything like that. So
yeah, but
just
to give you an idea of the Mario Luigi humor, the first one they have, nobody knows who Luigi is, so they're referring to him as like Mr. Greeny, the green guy.
screenshot.
All that stuff, and where this was hilarious, and where the first beginning plot is that you're going to get Princess Peach's voice back, whose voice got replaced with some explosive vocabulary.
I think I remember that. Like every time she talks, like all these weird symbols come out and stuff, right?
And then they drop to the floor and then explode.
I didn't know that part. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You're talking about Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I got that one for free on my. That was one of my Club Nintendo's shutting down. We're so sorry. Have something free and shut up. Rewards.
Oh, I've had that for years.
So that one definitely had me going. Did they actually? They showed Xenoblade Chronicles X. Was it the same trailer footage that we've seen ad nauseum, or was this anything new?
All Space
Mountain. I don't remember exactly how much was new or if there was any, but I'm glad that we finally got a release date of December 4th for that. That's going to be the day that I'm going to take off sick.
All right. If his employer is watching, he's only joking. If he calls in sick that day, he legitimately got sick. Crazier coincidences have happened.
But yeah, that Fire Emblem Faith, I'm really looking forward to that. Let's see.
So that's going to be 2 Fire Emblem games, right? Isn't there another Fire Emblem game that's coming out?
The Shin Megami Cross Fire Emblem, which at this point is more Personas of Shin Megami.
So it did. Oh, go ahead.
This might be a good place for me to get into the Persona series. I personally think.
Yeah, I haven't gotten. I don't really know anything about any of those particular games. I'm not like huge into RPGs, mainly because of the time investment. So at some point we'll have to have casual, stack rank the top 10 RPGs. So and I'll only go through the top 10.
I mean, I've been a Fire Emblem fan since Roy and Marsh were in Melee.
I think what got me on them is time sync, and now they've just become so crazy expensive, right?
The time sequence get me, man. I don't have time for that.
Also, did you hear that Star Fox is? I keep hearing an echo. But Star Fox is getting developed by Platinum.
Developed by who?
Platinum Games.
Platinum Games. They're the same guys that are making Nier, right?
Yeah. They're the people who made Bayonetta. Which had
wow.
Wonderful 101.
Which Bayonetta 2 had that whole Star Fox joke in it.
Wow, that's actually pretty cool. So I guess we're Bayonetta having the Star Fox joke in there, right? I guess what I'm wondering is
I guess you could say.
We'll have to keep an eye on those guys, because maybe those Easter eggs and those mentions are really their way of dropping subtle hints as to what to expect next.
Actually, yeah, maybe.
So I hadn't actually thought about that.
The only game that can even be considered bad that Platinum has made so far is the Legend of Korra game, and even then it's just average.
So speaking of just average, right? This is a great segue into one of the other topics I wanted to talk about. Half of the internet fan base for RPGs has had to leave momentarily to change their underpants at the announcement that there's going to be a Final Fantasy VII remake for the PlayStation 4.
I was not one of them.
Okay, Square, you've trolled me on this one so many times. I honestly don't know if I believe you.
Oh man, I've been watching reaction videos pretty much a good amount of the day.
I've seen grown men crying over this, right?
Alpha.
So two things. One, I think folks are going to have to keep in perspective that there are going to be parts of this game that maybe don't translate well to the HD, remake, right?
Can't wait to see cross-reference.
Well, right. I can picture now, like, the raging fanboys, right, who are upset that, the cross-dressing was not handled in the most accurate way possible. I don't expect that the remake is going to be a flawless, just HD upgrade of the original, nor would I necessarily want it to be. I'm hoping that it's as enjoyable a retelling of the story as the original was, because for me, what was always a shame about the original is that the original game that we got was not their original vision. It was a compromised vision based on the fact that initially Square was a Nintendo shop, and initially Final Fantasy VII was supposed to release on the N64. That could not happen because the gamble that they made along with Nintendo that ROM prices would come down so that they could have a huge game comparable to the size of a game on, say, a CD-ROM, basically never happened. And so there was no way that they could actually release the game. And Nintendo's response was basically, we'll cut out all the FMV. And for me, I think one of the things that made the game so epic, it was like it played on the PlayStation like an N64 game, except you had these really awesome full motion video sequences that told a much larger story and a much more beautiful story than the hardware could actually handle at the time. So I'd always wondered what it would look like if Sony or if Square had targeted something as powerful as the PlayStation to begin with. I think we would have gotten something more like Final Fantasy IX and less like Final Fantasy VII in look and sound and that kind of thing. They did a great job, but to me it was kind of obvious that there were compromises there. So now that they can target a platform with no compromises, I'm hoping that there's some new elements added. I'm hoping that some of the old elements that were maybe wonky, are maybe refined a bit. I don't just want them to take all the original stuff, update the visuals, and then give it to us. And I'm certainly not expecting the game to be perfect. I'm expecting it to have quirks and flaws of its own, just because it should be a new game. It shouldn't just be a rehash, in my opinion. But
yeah, I kind of wanted for it. They picked up the whole Crisis Core type of gameplay for it, actually.
That I would really be interested in seeing. I really enjoyed the Crisis Core dynamic, where it was kind of actiony but still kind of turn-based.
Yeah, I think that would be better for just reaching out to more people, I think.
Yeah. So what parts do you guys think won't translate well? Well, first of all, do you guys agree that there are parts that won't translate well? And if so, what parts do you think?
I don't know. I never played Final Fantasy VII. I tried, and it didn't work out.
Oh my goodness. Oh my
Sorry,
goodness.
guys, just not an RPG fan. I stopped RPGs at Super Nintendo's where I quit.
Well, that explains a lot. That explains our previous discussion with you regarding Final Fantasy VII. For me, I think the biggest parts that aren't going to translate necessarily are there was a lot of really kind of fun, if not out of place, mini games in Final Fantasy VII. And I think it was easier to do when the graphics were more simplistic. When we were comfortable with something just being a blip or a bloop. There's literally sound effects in Final Fantasy VII and some of these mini games that just sound like somebody just said F it and hit a button on a keyboard and said that's going to be the sound effect for that. But now if you're doing the major, the fire and forget, right? But now if you're going to do this major overhaul and stuff, that's not going to cut it. So either they've got a team that's just specifically working on all these little side games, because there was an arcade. There was a place called the Gold Saucer, and there was an arcade that you could go to in that place, and you could play all these different kinds of games. I don't know that's gonna make it. Are they gonna have chocobo racing and things like that, in it? Things like, the cross-dressing mini game / sequence. It was kind of funny when you couldn't really make out the characters and there wasn't really a lot of detail. But now when you have a perfectly texture mapped and super smooth poly, character there, is it gonna be as kind of humorous and silly as it was in the original game, or is it gonna be kind of dude, I'm strangely attracted to Cloud right now. This isn't right. So I don't know. Maybe my wife will find a side of me that she didn't know existed.
Now you can
I
watch
got a
There's
question.
Die
I've
on
got a Final
HD.
Fantasy VII question.
Go ahead.
All right, that sword is so big. How could you possibly lift it? It's like an I-beam with a handle.
I know, right?
What was their explanation? Memory download or something?
Well, no. I don't know what the official explanation of it would be, but it would all be in the materials, right? Like
Okay.
assuming that it was a properly balanced weapon, right?
Which is not.
Basically, right. Well, if you just look at the look of it, right, it would be possible to make a weapon like that perfectly balanced, provided that the material in the blade was of a much lighter material, probably some kind of composite, than the actual handle.
Okay.
Right?
Fair enough.
So if the whole thing is made of like solid steel, yeah, you're absolutely right. Like the whole game would be Cloud like dragging this giant sword behind him, going, "Hang on a second, guys. I'll be right there. I'll be right with you. I know it's my turn, but I can't. Can somebody help me here, please? Come on. I'm the size of this sword. This is ridiculous."
Which I know it's bad for me to make fun of it because I'm a big fan of Berserk, and it kind of has the same problem where you got a guy wielding a sword just as big as he is, but their explanation for how he can wield it is that ever since he was a kid, he had to use big swords due to his size, and they didn't have any kid swords.
Yeah. To which I say, like, okay, so but the guy should have Popeye arms, right? Because I mean, it's simple.
If you've ever seen the character Guts, he definitely has that.
Well, right, but Cloud doesn't have it, right? That's my point, right?
Yeah.
Cloud should have his set of Popeye arms.
I'm gonna go with the materials explanation. That works better.
The materials, yeah, that could be it. Except for the fact that when we first meet him, he's wielding the sword and he doesn't have any material whatsoever. So, but I'm with you though, Red Blaze. Like I'm hoping that they when you see Final Fantasy Advent Children, the movie, and you see Crisis Core and the cinematics and stuff like that, it is somewhat of a tragedy that the game in the middle, looks like an old, N64 title.
Yeah.
So I think this is an opportunity for them to bring the meat of the legacy up to date in a way that can stand right there in the middle with, Crisis Core and Advent Children, and you could, enjoy the whole entire, I don't know what you want to call it, the whole trilogy, I guess, for lack of a better word, in pretty darn close to the same, level of quality and polish and everything. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And we don't talk about Dirge of Cerberus, if I remember correctly.
Dirge of Cerberus got a lot of crap, but from what I understood, most of the crap came from the fact that the controls were awful. I had always thought that if Square was really, wanted that to be a successful game, they probably should have made it. They probably should have re-released that on the Wii or on the Wii U. Because if the biggest problem was just the control, like crosshair shooting controls and stuff, so give me Wii Remote controls. Problem solved. Because he did have a very interesting arc in the game that was never fully explored. So it's a shame that when they did finally fully explore his story arc in a separate game, that the controls were kind of a debacle. So maybe we'll see that at next year's E3. So
what about Horizon Zero Dawn?
Horizon, go ahead and talk about that. I don't know the Horizon's.
It's kind of odd how they set it up because they were making. It's kind of a post-apocalyptic world where the human race is just kind of like starting over in a way. However, there's giant robot dinosaur type things.
Yeah, it's like animals and machines used, and the humans are like the Americans, right? Got bows and stuff like that.
Wow. They need Laura Croft is what they need. She'd take care of that in short order.
They basically have a Lara Croft type girl.
Yeah, it is a female main character.
So
It looks amazing. I didn't even realize that it switched from the whole talking in the beginning to actual gameplay at first.
See, that's cool. I really like that aspect of next-gen gaming, when you can go from a cutscene to gameplay and not really... I died, like, no less than, I think, 10 times in the Tomb Raider, the new Tomb Raider game, mainly because, like, I had no idea that the cutscene had stopped and that I was, like, supposed to be playing the game. I was like, oh, wait, okay, this is the gameplay I'm supposed to be playing right now.
Yeah.
So I think the other interesting thing for me was that the Mirror's Edge Catalyst, did they actually end up? I heard before E3, I heard about Mirror's Edge Catalyst not being a Mirror's Edge game, but then did they clarify that at all in their boring presentation?
I think that's like a episode 0 type thing, where it takes place before Mirror's Edge.
Okay, so it is so.
That was that was my questioning before the last episode where we talked about it. Because I thought it was a completely different game all of a sudden.
That's what it was sounding like. It was sounding like it was going to be a total... I think where they threw us, right? Where they threw us was they said, this isn't going to be a sequel. All right, way to go.
Just turns out it's a prequel.
Yeah, it's a prequel. All right, you got me. That's, very funny.
But I mean, for me, the stream cut out as soon as the girl came on stage to talk about it. Just enough to know that it was Mirror's Edge. And then it comes back on right after the trailer stops showing.
So the one thing, right? That's the only thing of theirs I would have cared to have seen.
I can go track it down.
So the one thing
the same thing for me was Battlefront.
So what did any of you guys see the announcement for Ubisoft's South Park: The Fractured Butthole?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's the best title ever.
I mean, you got to give them credit for just like the best say what title of all time. I mean, I'm gonna pick up the case. I'm not gonna buy that game most likely, but I am gonna at least pick it up and take a look at it, mainly because I'm gonna watch some trailers about what the heck is this about, just because it's got that kind of.
And then they go and follow that up with probably the most metal game that the whole show had, or the whole conferences in general had. For Honor. My God, that looks so awesome.
What specifically about Marauder looked awesome?
For one, it looked kind of like a slow-paced Dynasty Warriors in a way, and where they also went and took elements from Chivalry, if you ever played that. Boy, how am I going to explain this?
I'm familiar with the game, I just haven't played it.
A samurai, Viking, or a knight.
Yeah.
They like fighting, and there's some hack and slash element in things, but you can fight hero versus hero versus other players, and that's not as hack and slash. That's actually wise. You just can't go there and start hacking because you got shields and stuff.
Gotcha. Who is excited about Sony announcing new DLC for Destiny?
I don't have Destiny.
Oh my goodness. I'm like, wow, that's still a thing. People still play that game.
We're kind of just jumping all over the place right now. Just whatever comes into our head first.
We'll worry about structure on the real show. This is impromptu.
Yeah, this is impromptu, folks. This is mainly like what I wanted to do is get everybody together and just talk about like what hit you, what landed well, what didn't land well. You can wax poetic on specific topics and titles on Thursday's show. There should be a much bigger crew on the Thursday show. There's going to be some other announcements too. Hopefully, people who have woken up from all the PC announcements.
PC was like 2 hours long. They were saying it's crazy.
It's still going, right?
No, they said
I'm checking right now. God damn it.
it's ready in a while back.
Right? Nope. It looks like it's done.
Oh, is it done? Thank goodness.
I'm not gonna sit there and watch the rest of that. I'm not paying no time.
Maybe the audience died and they had to end early.
So,
The audience was bored as fuck.
who decided Black Ops?
Well, I think for PC though, it's kind of hard, right? Like a lot of the games that would be like, oh my goodness, must get on PC, have probably at this point already been announced on other platforms. And then all the games that are left over. I mean, it's basically, you know, it's probably a bunch of indie stuff at this point that's getting announced. But
Yeah, it was
Does
a mix of
anybody
indie
don't hear
and-
anything about Gearbox announcing another game? You know, the guys that made Borderlands, or the team that made Borderlands.
Battleborn?
Is that what it was?
I think so.
There's like something like 25 playable characters or something like that.
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't hear about that one. I haven't heard any of the PC announcements. I'm kind of like late to the show on that one. But what did really super surprise me when Square announced, well, I guess didn't super surprise me, but it's just kind of, I guess, a sign of the times, is Square going both Xbox One and PS4 for Kingdom Hearts 3.
They're pretty much
They
the
kind of
same
announced
system.
that right after the reveal of the game, which they're also doing that with Final Fantasy 15, and right now Final Fantasy 7 is just play it first on PS4.
Yeah. Yeah, so what's interesting there, I think, is definitely, it'll be weird to have games hitting on a platform where you can't play any of the predecessors on that platform. That'll definitely be interesting. So if you've always been an Xbox One or an Xbox household, right? You can get in at Final Fantasy VII, but you're not going to play Crisis Core, right? And you're not going to be able to play, you know, other Final Fantasy games on your Xbox One, right?
Well, to be fair, you need a PS1 for Final Fantasy 7. You need a PS2 for Dirge of Cerberus. Then you need a PSP.
Not at all true. Not at all true. You can play all those games using PlayStation Now on your PlayStation 4, and you can buy the PlayStation Classic ones for your PS3. So you can go digital and get them, I guess, is what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, but what are you going to do for the PSP title?
Yeah, for the PSP title, you're going to do what I did. You're going to buy a friggin' PlayStation Portable that is either the second or the third version because it has AV out, and so you can hook composite cables into your HD TV and actually play Crisis Core on your HD TV like God intended. So, because you're right, that one never came out in physical, which always surprised the heck out of me because that seemed like a Square.
No, it's available on the PSP. That's it.
Right, but a lot of the PSP stuff, right, came out in digital. Not digital in the sense that you could play it on your PS3, but at least like literally since Sony discontinued UMDs, it's been impossible to buy a new digital or physical copy of Crisis Core. So that was one of their like blockbuster games that like became like gone instantaneously because when they made the switch to non-UMD all digital and everything, it just got left in the dust. And you can't you could play other PSP games. You could play the digital PSP games on your Vita, but you can't play. You can't. There's no way that you can bring Crisis Core on your Vita.
Yeah, I got the physical version downstairs.
I have a feeling that with a lot of those games, I think now it's coming down to licensing. So there's got to be something in Crisis Core that you're not able to lock a license on that's preventing them from re-releasing it.
Which, speaking of licensing, the whole Xbox 360 compatibility.
Continue. Go on. What do you mean?
Well, pretty much they said that any game can be backwards compatible. You just need to get permission from the developers to actually bring it over.
They're talking on the 360 or on the Xbox One?
For the Xbox One's
Xbox
backwards
360
compatibility.
games can be played on Xbox One.
Huh?
Go ahead, Jason.
Sorry for talking. Yeah, what they did, they made the Xbox One or Xbox 360 games. You can play them on your Xbox One. It's backwards compatible now. Kind of late to the party, I would think. I would think that should have been something they did at launch.
Late to the party.
To
Late to the party, but that might make me actually go Xbox One first before PlayStation. Because to be honest with you, the two games that really have me wanting to jump to PlayStation most likely will not be released in the next 2 years, right? If I get the PlayStation 4, it's going to be mainly for Final Fantasy VII and darn it, what was the other one? I don't even remember.
Infamous
I own Infamous Second Son, even though I don't own the PS4 yet. But Final Fantasy VII, and then there was one other. Oh yeah, the Last Guardian.
Yeah.
So, but where those probably aren't coming out till 2016. Generously, that maybe mid to end 2016. I would rather get. It looks like my money would be better spent on an Xbox One, right? I can play a superior version of Shovel Knight. I can grab the Rare Replay. I'll get Rise of the Tomb Raider before the other folks get it. I'll be able to get things like Kingdom Hearts 3. If I can wait 2 years for Final Fantasy VII, I can wait another 6 months or whatever for the timed exclusive to expire. So, and then if the 360 games play, there's only a small handful of 360 games that I've been interested in, not enough to push me to the 360. But if I know that I can enjoy them without having to invest in a 360,
there's currently like
they can get the
12 that they can do backwards compatibility right now, but they're planning to have over 100 by Christmas.
that's pretty cool. And I'm sure they'll have a list. I'm sure they'll have a list of these are the games that work, these are the ones that don't work.
Yeah,
that
for the
kind
most
of
part
thing.
right now, it's just Microsoft Studio ones.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's really pretty cool. There's going to be certain AAA titles that'll definitely make it over. I think every Halo game will make it over.
Well, Microsoft Studios.
Right, exactly. So I think those ones. I don't know if Rumble Roses Double X will make it, but
As long as the Konami Classics make it over.
all right. So how did
Shadows of the
folks?
Dam.
So you said Red Blaze, right? You said that you got a double bingo this E3.
Oh God.
What was your double bingo? Read them out loud.
Let's see. Beta demo game release after show. They've had a bunch of those. GameStop Dead suddenly has a trailer. The whole Earthbound Beginnings, I want to say.
Well, I'd give you that one. I'd also give you The Last Guardian.
That too. Sports games changed the game. Which NBA 2015 said it during the conference.
Oh, they said change the game?
Yeah. VR is the future of gaming.
All right.
Just because you had a bunch of that stuff going on. No EA game for Wii U.
Well, that one's obvious, right?
New amiibos. Exclusive third-party content.
What was that one?
Exclusive third-party content.
Oh, yes, exclusive third-party content. See, you went like super generic with yours, right? Yours was like, I could have won if I'd done stuff like, Nintendo announces a game.
A franchise revival.
Sega announces they will not make, Sega does not announce a new console.
But anyways, those two right there made a double bingo right there.
There you go. Well, good job there. You got the double bingo. I think I might have actually gotten a single bingo. I have to go back and recheck my card.
I got one square. One.
Which square did you get?
I'd have to go back and look. I don't remember what it was.
It was probably the one that was put on there as a joke, right? Like Square announces Final Fantasy VII
I didn't
remake.
this, so whatever happened is my fault.
No. It was my fault. I did a new one, so Jeremy built me one.
Okay, here's the ones I hit on. Zombies. Nintendo shows an evil lineup. Indie game support. Major Minecraft news. Technical difficulties during a live event. Fallout 4 2015 release date. No Ace Combat. Another Assassin's Creed gameplay free CG trailer.
Which was the CG free game trailer? Or I'm sorry, the CG only, right? Did you say CG free or CG only?
Gameplay free CG trailer.
Okay, which one was that?
I have to go back and check, but there was a couple of them.
Yeah, there were a few.
Now this is
Final Fantasy VII remake.
Yes, that one counts. That one totally counts. For me, another thing that was kind of lame was there was a bunch of hype surrounding that Silent Hills thing, and there was not even a remote, not even a blip about it. So, how many days of E3 we got left? Do we have 1 or 2 days left?
Two.
I think all the conferences are over now. It's just, everybody go check the games.
Yeah, but Nintendo kept adding stuff after the whole E3 digital event.
Yeah, they did the Treehouse thing all week.
Yeah, which they're doing this year again, so you're probably going to see a few more. And that's also kind of what leads me to not believe that the digital event was that bad, was just actually seeing these games in motion actually being played. The Metroid one, I'm a little bit more kind of up, I guess, for as far as wanting to get. But I'm still going to wait for some sort of price drop on that.
I'm just amazed at how much floor time, right, and how much attention Nintendo was able to whip up while having like the smallest library of actual upcoming games.
You guys watch the Nintendo World Star Championship?
They announced just as many new games as the other companies. I'm sorry,
but
no.
No.
Yeah.
Right. No.
Yeah,
I'm looking at the list right now, dude, and here's the thing, right? Yes, they announced as many games by themselves as any other individual company, but collectively, if I take all the unique games that have been announced at E3, and I look at the ones of those that are going to be cross-platform, right? Xbox One and PS4 has like 4 times more titles coming out for it in the next year and a half than the Wii U. That's just a fact. Especially when I look at Nintendo's announcements and I realize that not even half of those games that they mentioned are coming out for the Wii U. Half those games are 3DS.
And how many games is Sony coming out for the Vita?
Well, we're not even talking about the Vita, right? The Vita's the Vita is not. The Vita is not trying to take out Xbox One, right?
Did they announce
Neither is the Wii U or 3DS.
I don't think they announced anything for Vita.
I'd rather Wii U. Oh, damn there.
What was it? What'd you do over there?
You don't want to know?
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I'm not a Nintendo hater. The only current gen console that I have is a Wii U, but I have to admit, like all that hype and everything, and at the end of the day, what's gonna like actually land in my living room? You're talking like maybe 5 new titles, of which only 2 or 3 that I'm actually interested in. So I just thought it was interesting that they could, and this was actually a credit to Nintendo, that they can have like way less to show. I mean, basically at this point they have to carry the Wii U on their own, right? And yet they were able to have more energy, they were able to have more excitement, and they were able to have more people paying attention to them for longer than anybody else, who had, in some cases, like games that people have been asking for over a decade to announce. So I thought that was pretty impressive. That shows you the power of Nintendo, that it's not necessarily about, and I think this is what you're getting at, Red Blaze. It's not necessarily about the quantity, but the quality.
And the fact that most of those games are going to be available by the end of the year.
Yeah, I think, to be honest with you, I'm going to be surprised if I'm kind of torn. Like, part of me says Star Fox, the end of this year, no freaking way. But then I see the gameplay trailer, and I'm like, the game looks done.
Yeah.
So, but then if you look at their announcement that they made in January, right? I mean, it sounded like they were still just experimenting with stuff and trying to figure stuff out. And then suddenly you see this game that, like, looks done. It's like, what? Jeez, holy crap. I can't wait to see what you guys do when you're really, like, trying to make a game. So folks, this has been an impromptu, kind of an unofficial episode of Retro Reload. Just our initial thoughts and impressions on E3. We still got 2 days left, so there could be some more surprises there. Anything could happen. Maybe Silent Hills will be mentioned sometime over the next 2 days. I wouldn't hold your breath. Yeah, me too. So tune in Thursday. There's gonna be a bigger crew. We'll be probably diving in deeper to a bunch of these games, and we hope that if you're at E3, enjoy it. Leave some messages and comments below on your thoughts, and also if you've got any cool pictures or links to other videos, be sure to share them.